God puts tests in front of us. He makes the situation happen personally for each of us, such that we're put into that circumstance, and we're never put into a circumstance that we can't find a personal way out for our personal situation. Does that mean that we're all going to live forever? No. Does that mean that it's going to necessarily change the accounting that we're going to face, that at some point your time is up, or it's just the way for you to go? No. Is what happens to you there as part of the test and the circumstance for somebody else to endure? Absolutely. Is God doing it not only as the best thing for you and the best things for others? Well, we certainly hope and pray that that's the way that the world is arranged. I mean, we have no ultimate way of knowing, but we do believe that that's the characteristic that God best exemplifies. So it might be inscrutable. We can never judge right or wrong, because we just don't have all the facts. So it's not an answer, but it hopefully can give some solace. Shall we go on?
Sure, we can sing.
We're going to sing the pasuk. We're going to sing the sentence, and what I want you to notice when we read the sentence is the spacing that the notes imply. And we're going to notice that when we talk about this new covenant that's going to be faced, each time we're going to come to the sheltering word, and it's going to pause. It's going to stop us there, and then we're going to continue with, okay, and this is how we go on. So you notice kol basar at the beginning of the sentence, and od in the second half of the sentence. We're going to pause a little bit after those, and that's something that's implied by the notes. V'hakimoti et briti itchem v'lo yikareit kol basar od mimei hamabul v'lo yiyeh od mabul l'shachet haaretz. Again, those pauses are more exaggerated than what you would read out loud, but they are implied by the notes, and that's why we're emphasizing them here.
The word, where are we? Ate the flood and then a flood. Mabul. Why is it? Because both times you said, well, it's referring back to what was before. So why is it repeated? Like, it's definitely repeated for a reason twice.
So the first thing is a concept that I brought from somewhere else that we haven't so much been emphasizing, but the idea of the first half of the sentence perhaps being the more elevated idea, and the second half of the sentence being a mirroring of the first idea that we brought in the first half of the sentence, but in a more base or earthly type of a way. So God is going to give us a deal in the first half, in the ration, up until et nachta. God is going to make you a deal. But the world is still going to have justice. The world is still going to have bad consequences that happen, even if they're not total, even if they're not widespread, even if there's not collective type of punishment. So we have mabul in both sense. We have mabul in the measured, elevated, heavenly, I've got a way out for you, but you're still going to get consequence. And that's why we get mabul mentioned both in the Reisha and the Sefer, the beginning and the end of the sentence. And sorry, I used terms that might be cryptic to those people who are not commonly studying Gemara. Reisha means the beginning, the head. Sefer means sof, the end. So between the first part of the sentence and the last part of the sentence. We are on Bereshit Tet, Pasuk Yud Beit, Genesis 9:12. We're on page 81. Vayomer. This is a munach. So remember that this note has a sharp line, so it's saying this is something that's separated from what's come before, and then is going to tell us flatly what we're going to continue on to. Vayomer, and he said, number one, God realized the need for common peace in the New World, and he said that an arrangement shall be established to transmit that idea to the inhabitants of the earth, as indicated by the shape of the reading mark. So there's a new reality that's going to happen. It's going to be separate from what's before, and this is what it is. Elokim, Rivi'i. So you notice the note on top of the hey there. It is a sort of square diamond shape that's on top of the note in one direction here. So it looks like that. It sits on top of the word. And that note is going to tell us that that word is not only emphasized, but that word sort of stands alone. That word is something that has meaning even in and of itself, standing alone with nothing else that's influencing it. So, Elohim, God in the sense of judgment, that's the name of God that we're using. God above, number two. God above stressed that a correlation between above and below must be effected in a practical way to harmonize life according to rules set at the beginning, and capitalized B, beginning, as pointed out by the broad meaning of the reading mark. So Elokim, Bereshit bara Elokim, so we're using that sense in terms of God who created the world in the first place, God who literally stands alone and stood alone even before the creation. So his concept, his rules are still going to be something that reign, and that is going to be something that is separate from all the goings on down here. Is the Hashem is still in charge. Elohim, b'midat din, God in the sense of judgment, is still going to be there. Zot, this is a mahapach. So again, if you look under the Zion there, it's a thing that sort of looks like a greater sign. This is something that's going to take what's come from before and focus it and narrow it forward into what's going to go after. This, number three, this newly established condition, so we're on to the next page now at the top. This newly established condition shall become a proof of connections between heaven and earth, and equally oblige all participants to obey the order as signified by the segments of the shape of the reading mark. Why is he changing his language here a little bit? Segments of the shape of the reading mark. So he's sort of saying that there's an above and a below. So if you look at the note, we have an above and a below, and the two are going to join us and look forward. So he's not only saying that we're talking about the shape, we're talking about the fact that you've got a below and an above, and that's what's going to shape the new reality here. So that's why he's changed his language here. So again, very careful reading is going to tell you that he's trying to stress the fact that there's actually two parts to this one part note, if you will. And it's going to take all the things that have happened before and narrow us into the new reality which goes after it. Ot Habrit, a sign of the treaty. This is a Pashta. It's the note that's on top of the Tav. So again, you have to turn back and forth because we're changing pages back and forth. The note on top of the Tav, that one is going to emphasize the word, but focus us to go forward into what's going to go after it. There will be displayed a sign of the treaty in the skies, as shown by the directional shape of the reading mark. So he's saying because this is an elevated note, it's going to be something that's in an elevated place. It's going to be in the sky. So the sign of the treaty you're going to see above you. Asher Ani. This is a munach again, so this is going to separate us out from what's come before and lead us into a new issue, a new matter that's going to come after. That I, number 5. This token that I have designated as a reminder of your safety shall rebuild your assurance and confidence to begin new undertakings as stressed by the shape of the reading mark. So because you've got this brief, this treaty, you're going to be able to continue and to have a world that works afterwards based on the new set of rules that God is now going to announce to us that He's negotiated for us. Number 6, notain, again with a rivi'i. So this is going to be a word that's going to have that ability to stand alone, stand by itself, and emphasize the word. Between me, number 7, the sign symbolizing the treaty between me shall have a semicircular summit with its convexity towards heaven, as suggested by the shape of the directional reading mark. And again, he's doing something different here that he has not done before, in that he's taking particular elements of the note and trying to get us to focus on them. I'm going to have to think on this one and comment on it next week, because I don't quite understand how he feels he can separate out part of the note from the other. So we're just going to go on from this one because it's something different that he hasn't done before, and I'm going to have to see if there's another context that he's perhaps referring to. Beini, between me, with a pashta. This is going to emphasize the word and sweep us forward into what's going to come after it. Did I read the wrong one? Is that why I got so confused? 6, give. I read the wrong one. Therefore, I give it also in a characteristic. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. So this is a word that's going to stand alone. Number 6, therefore, I give it also in a characteristic way, placing it by the connection of heaven and earth, as denoted by the bipartite shape of the reading mark.
Notain is, does it have a kata? We just don't see it there?
Maybe we're...
Typo.
So you want to pause the tape for a second?
Sure.